guys, figured I'd give you guys an update on the build. I'm getting into some of the wiring now. I've decided to go with 10 gauge wire. Reason for that is I'm not too sure how the wiring will fare when it's drawing more than 40 amps. So I have 10 gauge going right to the batteries. Eventually the tabs that go to the battery screws will all be copper. I got to order those separately, as well as these ones here will all be copper here. So what I got, how I've got this wired up now, is the 4 batteries that were 49 volts of lead acid in the bottom. I'll now run in parallel for 24 volts, and then I have another 2 that are in parallel that are wired in series, or parallel in series to give me parallel in series to give me about 40 amp hours of 24 volts in the bottom. Another 2 12 volts run in parallel to give me 40 amp hours at 12 volts. And then the run in series with a jack on here, so I can just charge it with a 36 volt lead acid charger. So that takes care of the charging portion of it. This one gets charged separately because it's lithium, 30 amp hour lithium pack. So I'll show you what I did to wire up the ones in the base to make it easier. I'm using the solid state relay I made last year. That's probably take up to 100 amps on that relay. It was originally a 20, but I have a few extra FETs in there. I mounted it this way so the air passes through it and helps cool it. I have the regulator already set up. I haven't soldered any wires yet. I have the regulator fused, and as you see, I still have to solder the wire. It's just wrapped together there. I have a ground strap going from the high voltage lead on the negative to the wiring harness. That is your ground. I will plug it in and show you that it does work now. One thing you don't need is a soft start circuit, because the regulator doesn't really use a lot of MA, so there's no spark. It's just the solid state relay is going to take care of most of that. But as you can see, the turn signals are working. Anything 12 volts is working fine, including the horn. The lights get wired directly into the full pack voltage, which was 95 volts. And then I'll have a switch on to turn it off and on. I will remove all this, which I've designed it so you can remove the small pack and the big pack on top. And this wiring harness here stays. So you can see you can remove those no problem. This portion of the wiring stays, as well as the wiring going into the box. Don't need it. Now, originally how this box was designed is you would pull this side out, and there's a computer grade plug on it, and then it would have a really cheesy plug that would plug into it. Wouldn't handle anything more than 30 amps or even 15. So what I've done is I just took the tabs off cut the tabs off the box, so when you lift it up, half of the box stays in there, and this way you can still service the batteries, but you can't lift them out, so which is not bad. Like I said, eventually all these connectors here will all be brass, but I had to order them separate, so that's a better way of wiring up directly to the batteries. No more wiring left here from the previous owner. So that's about as far as I've got. I guess really what's left to do is to order up the charger, make the rest of the wiring harness all nice and neat in the back with the regulator, bolt the regulator down, and then we'll move on to that. I found a supplier for a $60 motorcycle seat that will fit. A nice brown one right there. It's for a bobber, but it'll work fine for this. I figure what I can probably do is remount these 2 rails out further and bolt them to here and here and here and here. And then when the seat comes in, it has brackets that will go that I'll have to drill holes on each side, 4 of them, and then bolt the seat right to it. It's better than the long board. It's a little hard on the ass. So that's about it. Should be able to pull some monster amps with this thing. I'm pretty sure the hub motor will burn out, but we'll find out. And we're going to replace it eventually anyway. So I figured I'd give you guys an update. And I also, using jumper cables, you also get a couple of these if you want to use them for another project, like charging a 12-volt battery or something. So, cool. Later, guys.